Hello everyone, Crypto Comrade here. What is up? Today I want to talk to you about Bitcoin and what I believe will be the future of Bitcoin, at least in the coming bull run. I've already made a video on Cardano about this. I will share the link in the upper right hand corner in case you want to check it out. And today it's time for Bitcoin. So let's get on with it and try not to make this video super long. So what do I see in a sentence Bitcoin being? I see Bitcoin being the future of collateral and store of value, okay? The way Bitcoin is designed allows it to be used as the way you can, like, imagine it like your savings account on the cryptocurrency. Instead you're actually not having an account, right? You're having an asset, and that's good because it's an asset that has, you probably noticed already, right? But it's an asset that has designed into it in code that cannot be damaged by malicious third parties. It has digital scarcity, okay? It will be impossible to have more than 21 million Bitcoin, okay? And this is very important because if you study a little bit of the history of money and the history of assets and what makes things valuable, scarcity plays a big part in that. But so what do I think are the key points regarding Bitcoin that actually will make it perform well and be the future of collateral and store of value? First of all, this is a very big point. It has the biggest network effect, okay? In case you didn't see the last video, I'm just gonna show you what I mean. The network effect relates to the number of users using the network, okay? And why is this important? If you understand Metcalfe's law, you'll understand why this is important. So Metcalfe's law states that the value of a network is equal to the square of its users, okay? And why is this? It's because, you know, having just two telephones, this is like an example, right? A network of telephone lines. If you have just two telephones, you can only have one connection. But as you increase the number of telephones, you don't increase the number of connections by the same amount. You increase it by square the amount, okay? So as you can see, as more and more users become part of the network increases exponentially in value because more connections can be made between each of the nodes, okay? And this is very important for you to understand because Bitcoin's code is open source. That means that if I wanted to right now, I could pick up Bitcoin's code and start my own Bitcoin. I could call it the Crypto Comrade Bitcoin or the Comrade coin or whatever. But why wouldn't that have value? Like, this is a common argument that people state about Bitcoin. Like, if I can just copy the code and deploy it, where's the value? Well, the value is in the network. That's very important that people realize this, is that there's a lot of stuff in this world that does not have intrinsic value, okay? Like the money you used to pay your everyday bills and your dinners and your whatevers, like, it's a piece of paper. It has no intrinsic value. Why does it have value? Because you believe in the value. In this case, the government or the central bank or the Federal Reserve or whatever, depending on the country you're in, gives you like they promise you that your money will keep its value, that you can use it and it will equal a certain amount of you know, whatever it is, €5 or $5 or whatever. And the same thing, exactly the same thing happens with gold. Like some people say gold has intrinsic value. Well, okay, of course you can make jewelry with gold, you can make some circuits with gold, but I mean, that's not the reason gold is worth $10 trillion in market cap, okay? Let's be real. It's because people believe it to be an asset that can hold its value in face of an economic crash or a currency crisis or whatever. People believe it to have value. And this exact same thing is happening with Bitcoin. People are believing in the network, are believing in the system, are believing in what Bitcoin stands for, a trustless, highly portable store of value and collateral, okay? And that's why it would have success, in my opinion. And as you can see, it has crushed all competition. You know, Bitcoin Cash promised to be faster. Bitcoin Satoshi Value promised to have like the true vision of Bitcoin enabled, but they all failed. Okay, they all failed. And why? Because they don't have the network, okay? They need people using it. They need miners. They need nodes, okay? And you can't fork it. That's the thing, you can't fork, okay? You can copy Ethereum, you can copy Bitcoin, but you cannot copy the use base. You cannot copy the miners, okay? This is very, very important. Okay, now I believe that another key fact is that we have incoming adoption with a narrative. Okay, so what do I mean by this? This is like the first. I always say that I said in the last video that you have to remember the power of storytelling and that crypto is highly narrative driven. Okay, what does this mean? This means that people believe in a story and a purpose for what they buy. Okay, so why is this relevant? As if you know, if you have read the white paper, Satoshi designed Bitcoin with the intention of it being a peer-to-peer way to change value. Okay, peer-to-peer. Okay, so it was intended to be sort of like a payment system, and that was the big narrative behind Bitcoin in the beginning, that we could make payments with Bitcoin, it would be much easier, and etc. But now that's not the current narrative. The current narrative is that Bitcoin will be a store of value. That means that you'll be able to, you know, in case you're not aware, the dollar, which is the big currency gluing all the currencies in the world together, is depreciating pretty fast in value because of the COVID crisis, and not only because of the COVID crisis, but of course the COVID was a catalyst. There's an increasing amount of dollars in circulation, and this means that each dollar that you own necessarily needs to have less value because there are more of it in circulation. So if you want to protect your wealth, you should not store your wealth in fiat currency, okay? Could you store it in Bitcoin? It's a possibility. I would admit it's pretty volatile still, so it can be risky, but you know, pretty much anything else you put your money in will bring you better returns than fiat, okay? And Bitcoin, as he's being told, the story we're being told currently about Bitcoin is with this purpose. And I believe it will achieve this purpose. As we'll see, I'll show you, institutions are piling in to have a piece of the cake. Another big thing about Bitcoin is that you have trustless use, okay? That means you don't need a third party to use the system. This is good and bad at the same time, but it means that if I want to transfer money to you, I don't need to tell it anyone. I don't need my bank to know who I am. I don't need to pay wire transfer fees. I don't need you to go to the bank and tell you who you are, who you're receiving the money from. I can just get your address, send it, and it's instant. Okay, well, it's not instantaneous, but it's pretty fast. Okay, and it's this trustless behavior that also means that it's not working to the designs and desires of anyone. Okay, it just is what it is. It's a agnostic system. Okay, it knows no ruler and it knows no government. It knows no owner. Okay. Everyone who owns Bitcoin owns a piece of the network. And that's the beauty of it. It means that everybody owns a little bit of it. It's like a community, okay? Everyone has a piece of the pie. And it's perfect because you don't need to trust anyone, okay? The code, the system trusts, makes it that you don't need trust to send value. This is very important because, as I've said, you can eliminate the middleman and then you can cut costs, make things faster, and you know, make sure that there are no people controlling it that can have second intentions. Okay, like you can go to the bank and the bank, you do realize that if all of us wanted to withdraw our money from the banks, that would not be possible because they don't have the money. Okay, they don't have the money. The current system, the current financial system is built on debt. Okay, so they don't have it. That's like you need to trust them that you know you're trusting them with your money that they will have it for you when you need it, but it's not a guarantee. I mean, if you're from Europe, you're familiar with what happened in Greece not so long ago, that people wanted to withdraw money from the ATMs and they had to shut down the ATMs because they didn't have the money to give to the people. Okay. Finally, if you look around and if you haven't been living under a rock, you see that the natural evolution of the world is digital now. Everything is going digital, okay? The way we interact, the way we buy, the way we shop, the way we socialize, everything is going digital, whether you like it or not, okay? I, for one, have some, I'm a little bit skeptical about it, but it's happening, whether I like it or not, okay? And you can see at its own pace, things like social media will replace some social interactions, streaming took over TV, and shopping now. I mean, who doesn't do online shopping? If you just go back a few years to see that most people didn't trust online shopping. It was risky. They didn't trust it could be a safe thing to do. But now it's pretty common. It's pretty common. And as COVID came in, home working has become a reality. Like people are starting to realize that maybe we don't have to go into all this pollution, all these cars, all these big, huge cities, just so people can go to work more easily if we can work from home. Okay, that's the thing that COVID has pushed forward, and in my opinion, will help the digital narrative and thus Bitcoin. Now, what are the key events that I see playing out in the coming months that could go in favor of Bitcoin, that would make Bitcoin more valuable? First of all, the widespread adoption of the narrative, okay? So if people really start to play with this narrative that Bitcoin is a store of value, I think this will play very good to the price of Bitcoin, because people it will reduce the volatility, because people will want to hold it and not sell it, okay? Now, just to give you an idea of, is this really happening? Can we see this event in motion? And I believe we can. If you don't know, MicroStrategy is a business intelligence company, and Michael Saylor, the CEO, has been very big on Bitcoin and has bought a lot of Bitcoin. And now he's holding this online conference, and they will be telling what they believe is should be the Bitcoin macro strategy, their corporate strategy, their considerations, legal considerations, accounting, and they will have, like, look at this. Everyone is coming to this event. All the big players on the crypto market, on the Bitcoin market in this case. And he has been on an interview recently, and he cannot disclose who will be attending to this event, but we will know, okay? This will happen in February, and if we see big names in there, like big people behind big companies going to this, that can really spark a positive price action. Okay. Also, I've talked about this before, just yesterday, about BlackRock, the biggest asset manager in the world, has started to invest in Bitcoin futures, and they most likely have Bitcoin already. They're just not letting it out. You also have Grayscale, has a Bitcoin trust. You know, they're talking about this, the bold opportunity in the era of digital gold. Okay, and just look how well it has been performing lately. They're also having an Ethereum trust, so they are really spreading out onto crypto, and I think this is the future. And just so you can understand how big this narrative is, and how can Bitcoin have an incredible impact on all corners of the world. If you look at Iran, you know, Iran has been a country that has been plagued by US sanctions. I don't want to get political here, but as you know, the economic sanctions, for better or for worse, are really shrinking the Iranian economy by 10 to 20% in the last 2 years. And the government of Iran has started to buy Bitcoin, because with Bitcoin they can do transactions, and they don't have to and they can store value without having the risk of their currency depreciating, or some third party, in this case the United States, have like some sort of say on what they do with their money and how much their money is worth. And as you can see, at first they didn't go with it. They had a harsh crackdown on mining activity for abusing cheap electricity. But now look at this. They are recognizing mining as a legal sector in the economy. So you can legally be, like, a job is being a Bitcoin miner. Okay, this is a huge shift in paradigm, because they started to see that this can actually be a good thing for them. You know, people who are under the grip of bigger powers can really try to set themselves free with Bitcoin. Okay, and they are actually trying to trade with South Africa, France, Switzerland, England, Russia, whatever, with cryptocurrency. Okay, so this is happening, guys. Whether we like it or not, whether you like it or not, it's gonna go. And governments, as I was saying, if more governments decide to go with it, some of them are developing their own cryptocurrencies. In case you don't know, Cambodia as a cryptocurrency, like so CBDCs, which are they're like crypto-based. I don't really know what this means. I forgot it. Crypto central-based digital currency. Central bank digital currency. That's it. So these are like if you had a crypto euro or a crypto dollar. Okay, there are plans for this already. Okay, the European Union, the Bank of England, they all have plans for this. In case you're not aware, Cambodia has cryptocurrency already as a national currency, and Japan is also working on it too. Okay, so this is not like some confabulation. This is actually happening. Okay, and if they do decide to go to the crypto way of currencies, they will need the digital collateral too, like they have gold nowadays. Okay, we will need a digital collateral too, because it doesn't make sense to go and pay for everything in your life with a digital currency, a cryptocurrency issued by your central bank, and then your sort of value is still a physical thing. Okay, It doesn't make sense. If we do go on the way to central bank digital currencies, which we will for sure, then Bitcoin will necessarily have a play in the whole ecosystem too. Another big thing that can happen in favor of Bitcoin price action is if COVID keeps devaluing the dollar. Okay, so as you know, the United States is the biggest economy in the world, and they're facing a big crisis with COVID. I know a lot of people believe that COVID is about to go away, that the vaccine is coming, and everything will be solved. I'm sorry to tell you that is not true. Okay, COVID is here to stay for some time yet. Okay, as you can see, the virus can mutate, and like, we cannot do a widespread vaccination. Okay, we don't have the means for that, because you know there's money also involved and a lot of interests at play. So COVID is here for at least some time yet, and I think that in the meantime, the United States government has no option but to print more money, because otherwise the economy will collapse. Okay, that means that all of our currencies will start devaluating. Okay, because we are all very fundamentally pegged and binded to the dollar. So that's bad for all of us, bad for the dollars you have in your bank or whatever fiat money you have in your bank. And I think as the dollar keeps devaluating, people will search for a safe haven, and that answer in the digital age is Bitcoin. What can happen against Bitcoin in the coming months? Well, FUD, you know, FUD, if you don't know, FUD means fear, uncertainty, and doubt, okay? FUD can easily shake an illiquid market. Now, we think Bitcoin is worth $30,000, it's worth a lot. It's really not that much. If you go and see what other companies are worth, what other big companies are worth, you'll see that Bitcoin is not that big in terms of market cap. And as we saw, like just recently, if you take a look at what happened in last days, let me just zoom it out for you. Here, in the last days, this big dip, this big red candle that happened 2 days ago was basically because some people who wanted to manipulate the market spread false information. They said that Bitcoin was having a big flaw, that there was a double spending, and that was not true. That was just fake news. And they took that move to drop the price so they can buy Bitcoin here lower. Okay, so if you're new to the game, you have to be aware of this. People will constantly trying to get their hands on your Bitcoin because they know it's going to be worth a lot, and they want it for themselves. So don't give it away for free. Okay, and that's the same. That's basically almost the same thing, but price manipulation can play a big role. Like these guys from BlackRock that said that they are investing in Bitcoin. This is like from January 20th, and 1 day or two ago, they were saying that Bitcoin might go down to 20,000. That you should sell now because it might go down to 20,000, because they want you to sell it. They want to buy it. They want to buy it for cheap. Okay, so don't be the guy that falls into this. This will happen during this year 2021. It's going to be a year full of FUD and manipulation and news, bear news, but don't forget the big picture. Okay, when you see something like this and you're scared, just do this. Okay, do this. Zoom out. Zoom out. If you zoom out, you'll see you have nothing to be scared of. Okay, this is like a little drop in the ocean. In the long run, this will mean absolutely nothing. Okay. Finally, if we do witness a big crackdown from regulators, this was one of the events responsible for negative price action on the 2017 bull run, I believe, because of China's crackdown on miners. But as you can see, I think China's position now is different, because they understand that since they control most of the hash rate from the network, they are actually in control of they can use that to their advantage. You know, and I think China is also having a test on their CBDC. They will start using this digital currency, I mean, in the coming year for sure. And so they will not be against Bitcoin. Actually, they will want to be on top of the game. So I really don't see this happening. So I can only see a favorable price action for Bitcoin in the future. Now, for price predictions. So we have a lot of history to watch for Bitcoin. And as you can see, if you pull a mean on this, you'll see that this is the best performing asset ever since its inception. Okay. Now, if you go to the latest bull run, which is the best documented one we have, you'll see that we went from about $120,000 per Bitcoin, which was about when we broke the earlier all-time high, to 20K. Okay, I think this is the best reference because this is like a fair game to which we can compare what would happen now, okay? So from the previous all-time high in 2013 to the new all-time high that was written in 2017, we witnessed about a 16x growth, okay, from 20 million market cap to 330 million market cap. Now, from this point today, so from the previous all-time high, which is 20K, where can we go? If we grow in the same amount as we grew in 2017, we shall see Bitcoin reach $300,000. Okay, is that reasonable? Will that happen? I really don't know, but I think that we can call that our top. I mean, that would be in the best case scenario, I think, because I see that you even though this is the same percentage growth, you need a lot more money to make this move. Okay, you need to go from 330 million to 5 trillion. So that's a lot of cash. To go from 20 million to 330, that's easier than to go from 330 to 5 trillion. Okay, it's a lot less cash. But I mean, it's possible, it's doable. Okay, what I think are general, sensible and reasonable price predictions. I think 50K is like the bottom. It's probably a no-brainer. If we reached 40K just based on people starting to FOMO in, I think 50K is peanuts, to be honest. I think the most reasonable expectation, which is what I have marked here on my chart, is 100K. Okay, that will make Bitcoin have a market cap of $1.5 trillion, and it's not that crazy if you put it in perspective. Like, if you believe in the narrative and the story that Bitcoin is a store of value, 1.5 trillion is not that much. It's an asset. It's not like a stock. If you look at the big stocks, Amazon is worth 1.6 trillion, Microsoft 1.7 trillion, and Apple 2.3 trillion. So this is not that unreasonable. Okay, I think 100K is like it's when I probably will decide to put my first sell order. Okay, that's when I will decide to, maybe I will start selling Bitcoin at this point. 220K would be the maximum. That would still put Bitcoin at half the market cap of gold. So it's also not that crazy if you consider the whole narrative of Bitcoin being the new world collateral and reserve asset. Okay, so it's not that. I mean, the numbers might scare you if you look at 300K, but if you put it in perspective, half the market cap of gold, not that much of a deal. Okay, if the narrative really kicks in. So that's it for today. I just wanted to close with also to put things in perspective. We sometimes see this only from our own world. Like, we live in Europe or the United States, most of us at least, and we think we see the world through a biased point of view. Because crypto, sometimes you see, well, I don't see anyone using crypto. Everyone uses dollars or euros. Well, if you go to the rest of the world, you see that booming economies like Nigeria and Vietnam, South Africa, Turkey, there's a lot of people using cryptocurrency there. So just to put it in perspective, this can actually, sometimes people say this has no intrinsic value or use. Like, this can help a lot of people. Most of these people do not have access to banks, so they can have a bank account. If I want to transfer money to them, I would not be able. But with Bitcoin, everyone is entitled to have a bank account. So this is like your ticket to financial freedom. Okay, put it in perspective. There's a lot of people that will benefit from this new paradigm that is about to launch. So that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy the video, please be sure to leave me a comment and a subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.